as well after an incredible start to this game. You only have to look at both coaches to analyse the roller coaster of emotions after the last 2 goals. I mean, elation to despair, firstly for Alan Stadgic after the Mariners equaliser, and then for Warren Moon as Western Sydney went back 2-1 up, and he still can't believe it, the Mariners coach. There's a bit of atmosphere back into CommBank Stadium. It really took the air out of the place when Central Coast equalised. Didn't take them long to go 2-1 up, though, through a wonderful goal from Costa Barbarouses. They'd love to win today for obvious reasons, winless so far this season. But you look at the RBB, perhaps lower in numbers in that area of the ground as they usually are, so the club just desperate for a win today. And keen to see, Eric, how this midfield goes. We spoke about it in the pre-game, but he's sticking with that same formation, Alan Stadgic. Igarkovic on the right. It's pretty much a flat 4-4-2. Hasn't quite worked to start the season so far, but they have looked a little bit more productive in terms of moving the ball in the early stages of this game. What have you made of it?
Yeah, Garby, Igarkovic for me on that right-hand side, it's just a different maybe position for him, having to start out wide, but in that defensive shape, he comes in quite centrally, and that's where he can go and help his teammates out a little bit more. But conversely, it's also where the goal came from. Moragas has got through on the left-hand side, making a very nice late run. So he's not a natural right-sided midfielder. He's got to remember his job in that area as well. But it's a difficult ask for somebody who's central to start playing out wide.
Yeah, speaking about the start to the season, can you believe it's the Wanderers' worst start to a season since 2014-15? They went 13 games without a win to start that season, but they're not used to barren runs. The RBB certainly not used to barren runs either. Hopefully there is a huge turnout next week for that Sydney derby. I'm sure it'll be packed to the rafters. The RBB and the Cove will be in fine voice. They're just warming up their vocal cords this afternoon, and their side has given them something to sing about. Thurgate is met in a really strong challenge coming through the back to Pizio. Thurgate goes to ground, but a free kick will do. A call for a handball there. Was Brad Tapp outside the area, maybe?
Wow, that certainly looked like a handball to me. Not sure if it goes back, but I've seen them given.
So VAR, Sean Evans is checking this one. Just a slight delay while he runs the rule over it. Brad Tapp was certainly started outside the area, but did he fall back far enough into the area when he got that arm on it? This could be a worrying sign for the Mariners, Eric.
Yeah, it looks like it's inside the box, and the hand is not in a natural position. I think going out on a whim here, it looks as though it's going to be a penalty because he's not... The arm's extended from the body, it's not next to it. You can argue it's not in a natural position, but if the ball goes through, Wanderers are in on goal. I think this will be a penalty.
He just gets a little tangled on his fall backwards, doesn't he there, Brad Tapp? And I think the Mariners are starting to fear the worst as well. Sean Evans taking his time. I think the big question will be whether Sean Evans decides if it was in the area. That camera angle on the 18-yard box, and now Daniel Elder is heading over to have a look at the screen. I get the feeling that 18-yard line camera could be the telling decision maker for Daniel Elder. 116 games in the A-League, he's vastly experienced official.
Oh, it's a definite handball. Yeah. I think he's got nowhere to hide there, unfortunately, Tapp. But this is what the Wanderers need to do more of, Glenn, is play those vertical passes and go and ask a question. Let Alou Kual, or in this instance it's Kraev, getting forward. They've got 2 players in the box there that can make a nuisance of themselves. They need to do this more often.
And I think Bozidar Kraev does just about enough there as well to put Brad Tapp in 2 minds. He just gets a little arm in, and that almost forces Brad Tapp into that unnatural, that awkward position as he's going backwards. And Bozidar Kraev, I think, has just about won this penalty for his side.
Yeah, spot on. I think you're right. If the ball goes through, Kraev is maybe in on goal, and I just don't think he has anywhere to hide here. It's a hard and horrible decision for the referee to make, but when you watch it like this, there's not really another option, I don't think.
Well, we talk about clear and obvious, and Sean Evans is taking a long time to look at this as Daniel Elder is heading out to make his decision.
The arm moves towards the ball. The final decision is penalty kick.
So the Wanderers have the chance to go 3-1 up. Bradley Tapp giving away a penalty via a handball, and can Andrew Redmayne be the hero for the Mariners again? He did it in round 1 against Newcastle. He has to come up big here again.
Well, would you put it past him? What colour is the wiggle today? Is it the teal wiggle?
Well, he was the teal wiggle against the Jets. Could this be the lucky penalty-saving kit for Andrew Redmayne? But it is the vastly experienced Costa Barbarouses lining up for the Western Sydney Wanderers, looking for his second of the afternoon, third for the season. Daniel Elder is laying down the law to Andrew Redmayne. No dancing is the instruction, of course. The goalkeeper having to stay on his line. Changes to the law is almost forced by Andrew Redmayne in that heroic shootout against Peru. Costa Barbarouses from the penalty spot. He's converted 7 in the A-League so far in his career. Can he make it 8? Barbarouses and Redmayne. He sends Redmayne the wrong way. Costa Barbarouses celebrates with the fans at the southern end. His second of the afternoon, and just 23 minutes into this one, the Wanderers lead the Mariners 3-1.
They've got a firm grip on this game now, the home side. It's the Benjamin Button of the A-League, Costa Barbarouses. Here's that penalty incident on the Harvey Norman replay. Tapp just gets caught in two minds on whether he can get his arm out of the way. That little stutter run-up just sends Redmayne one way, and Barbarouses goes the other way. Big-time player, big-time penalty, and the Wanderers have the lead. They've extended their lead here.
He's 8 from 10 from 12 yards in the A-League. Costa Barbarouses, the 35-year-old, in game number 355. Getting the job done for this Wanderers side. And this game, we're only a quarter of the way through, and it has had everything. This is why we love the Isuzu UTE A-League men's competition. You never know what you're going to get. And it does seem a long way back for the Central Coast Mariners as Savignon wins the free kick.
It's a beautiful move, that, from Savignon, under a little bit of pressure. The Mariners need to get going now. There was almost a little moment there where we thought at 2-1 the Mariners were going to come back into it, trying to control possession, but they're having a little bit of difficulty linking with their front players at the moment, really hoping that guys like Moragas and Storm Rue can get further forward.
Nior now linking up with Miggy DePizio. Gets past Thurgate, links up again with Savignon. Into the area, will he cut back to Duarte? He can't get the right direction on that one, but it does come up. No, it doesn't come off the Wanderers, it's a goal kick, but that's a nice incisive run from Savignon.
That's more like it. Play and move and get forward. He can be so unorthodox at times, but did everything right. Maybe Duarte was a little bit static inside that 18-yard box, but yeah, the Mariners now conceded, is it 5 goals in the first half of games? It's the worst record in the A-League. It's something that Warren Moon obviously would have known about, but it's, yeah, you don't want to be conceding early goals away from home. It becomes very difficult to get back into the game.
4 of the 5 goals coming into this afternoon's game were either conceded in the first 15 or the last 15. So that is now a concern for them as the game wears on. They've already conceded 3. I think fortuitously for them, though, is before this game they had scored 4 of their 5 in the 15 either side of half-time. Maybe that is something that the Mariners fans can hold some sort of hope. The Wanderers look really good value for their lead. Zopoulos looking for Kraev. Not the outcome that they would have been hoping for. Savignor, those incisive runs down the right-hand side, particularly against Wellington, was the game that he looked the most dangerous. He came up with a goal that afternoon as well, and that's what he needs to do, just get into that opposition 18-yard box. Duarte under heavy pressure there. It's good defending from Bonatig. Here's Steele. Calmont is desperate for it. Still wants it out from Calmont. He's frustrated that the ball is being sent across to the right-hand side for Storm Roux. There is McCalmont. Ball, Brandman. Nice little layoff. Link-up play for those two. Josh Galante pushes Brandman back. Mariners just inviting the press to get higher and higher here. They find it more difficult to get out. Brandman does well, though. Close to the touchline. Not quite as well as he would have hoped, though, because it does go out for a Wanderers throw.
You could just see there they needed that release pass, didn't they? Once it gone back to the back line, that's where I think you've got to go and connect with the front line and just go and play something in, because you are inviting a lot of pressure. And what the Wanderers are doing really well this afternoon is they're picking that moment, they're sitting in, and once they know that ball goes back, it's the front three going and pressing and trying to make it difficult. And right now the Mariners are trying to play around, maybe play it a bit further past them.
Moragas was sitting pretty high in that passage of play, and the ball never ultimately got that far up the left channel. Now it's the Wanderers' turn to patiently build into something here, and they have the luxury of that 2-goal lead. Marousas heads wide left to pick that one up, then sends Cryer towards the corner. Tap. Storm Roux double teaming it, and it is going to be a Wanderers throw. The pressure can continue. Just giving the Wanderers the hurry up. Alex Gersbach was trying to get that one dry for Pantazopoulos, and it's going to be the long throw again. Towards the 6-yard box. The Wanderers player goes to ground. Not too much of a shout for a penalty from Bonatig. I don't think there was too much in it. A Mariners goal kick.
I think that could be a rule change moving forward for throw-ins. If we've got the goalkeeper having 8 seconds, I think the throw-ins should be a little bit quicker than that. Either way, it's a weapon for the Wanderers, causing all sorts in there. And the Mariners are still trying to play out from the back under pressure.
Wanderers once again looking for a way in. It was a former Premier League referee, it might have been Jeff Winter, who was asked about one of the changes that he would make to the game, and that was something that he came up with as well, in terms of players slowing things down with throws. Once again, here we go. Aidan Simmons goes over and then drops it for Pantazopoulos, but we know that Pantazopoulos is going to be the man taking them based on these long throws.
And he's going to have a little dry of the towel as well.
So here is Pantazopoulos towards the 6-yard box again. Heads everywhere. Moragas gets his touch to it. Ugarkovic, and then on the follow-up, Gersbach puts it just wide of Redmayne's right-hand upright. But that was another great opportunity from the Wanderers off the long throw of Pantazopoulos.
That's how you do it. You just try and settle it down to the far post. And I think Gersbach there, on the sweet left foot that he has, should have hit the target, but it was great work from Ugarkovic just to cushion it down to him.
He's only scored the one A-League goal in his 47th game this afternoon, but he got a really nice connection on that. It just slid away, didn't it? That would have been so frustrating for Gersbach to watch. Of course, a former teammate of Andrew Redmayne at Sydney FC as well. And now Rue putting one over the top. Nico Duarte safely held by Pantzopoulos there. And Savigny tries to get in the way of Gersbach, and he wins the throw for his side. Well, that would have been a really impressive finish. It did ripple the back of the net. Half an hour through this one. It has been action-packed so far. That is a wasteful ball into the mixer from the Mariners. Lawrence Thomas will now happily slow this down. Do have a pretty good record here at Combank. Beaten in their last 5 regular season matches. Of course, they lost that semi-final against Melbourne Victory last year. The Wanderers also know that they have struggled in recent times against the Mariners. They did win 4-0 in Gosford, but lost previous 3 there, and that one is too heavy as well. So Andrew Redmayne will take the goal kick, and it gives us an opportunity once again to head back down to Daniel Garb.
Well, this is the kind of football they expected to see, the Western Sydney fans, from this football team this season. It's taken a while, but they seem to have finally clicked. They just look solid defensively, and they're moving the ball nicely in attack, as we've seen. You spoke about him earlier, Eric Partlou, Anthony Pantzopoulos. So much of what Western Sydney do goes through him. He's just involved in everything. Defensively, obviously, he's very strong, but when they build it up, they often look to him to get things going. We've seen the long throws on display, which of course Central Coast problems, and it's the leap for me. For someone who's not that tall as a central defender.
Sorry, Garby, keep going.
As a central defender, it's his leap, Eric, that is so impressive. He gets high up there and quite often jumps over the attackers. And last season he was spoken about in dispatches as a potential future Socceroo. I doubt that'll happen before the World Cup, but you can see why people are touting him for higher honours.
Can play multiple positions. He's trusted by the coach. He's played every minute so far as well. So he's one that is the Western Sydney Wanderers really through and through.
So Savigny wins that corner for the Mariners. Bailey Brantman was just about to take it, and Daniel Elder gets in to just calm everyone down. Božidar Krajev is making a nuisance of himself there on Nathan Paul, and I think that is the object of Daniel Elder's disappointment at the moment. Božidar Krajev again with his arm around Nathan Paul, who's trying to get himself free. There's hands on the shirt as well. Brantman's in-swinging delivery towards the back post is pretty deep. Brad Tapp does well to get there. It's half-headed clear. There might have been a handball there again from the Western Sydney Wanderers. Alex Gersbach was the man who might have got an elbow to it. There was a half shout for the Mariners. They're asking for the corner. It'll be a goal kick, but there'll be potential here for Sean Evans to get involved again.
Well, they are checking it, Glenn. It looked as though the arm, it may have struck the elbow or the tricep, and we're going to see here quite clearly. Oh, I'll tell you what, and the telltale sign is the hand movement away from Gersbach. And he knows that, I think this is going to be a penalty as well. If it's going to go one way, that's got to go the other.
So just waiting to take this goal kick while Sean Evans runs the rule over it. But yeah, Alex Gersbach just lifts that left arm up. He gets big contact that takes it away from Storm Rue as well. And we were talking about earlier, as Daniel Elder comes over, the fact that Brad Tapp took the ball away from Božidar Krajev at the other end as well.
I don't know what he's thinking. The body shape going into a challenge inside the box. These days, you've got to put your hands behind your back or by your side. Here it is again. It's almost like a flick of the wrist to try and get an advantage inside the box. It's crazy.
Well, you hope that they don't have to take too many looks at this. It does look fairly clear-cut. Of course, they made plenty sure of the first penalty at the other end that was calmly put away by Costa Barbarouses. Alfie McCalmont, of course, scoring for the Mariners from the spot in that round 1 win over Newcastle. And Storm Rue was adamant right next to Alex Gersbach there. Daniel Elder is now making his way back out onto Combank to make his decision. Let's have a listen.
After on-field review, the player moves their arm towards the bowl. The decision is penalty kick.
While I completely agree with him, I just question why it takes so long to get to that decision, Eric.
It does. They've got to make sure, and I just am very happy that there were 2 easy VAR decisions that have gone the way I think everybody who knows football, it's gone the right way. And I don't think the Mariners were 2 goals worse off as well. If they go and convert this, it becomes game on.
So Bradley Tapp is just looking after that penalty spot to ensure Lawrence Thomas or any of the other Wanderers players don't try to practice some of the dark arts. I don't think it will be Brad Tapp, as Alfie McCalmont does come over with ball in hand. The man who put away that penalty in the opening round. Up against Lawrence Thomas. From 12 yards for Alfie McCalmont. Lawrence Thomas from the penalty spot has only saved 2 out of 34 in the A-League. Can he make it 3 here? Alfie McCalmont with the RBB behind him to make it 3-2. Takes all the time in the world and he puts it into the top corner. Thomas goes the right way, but there's nothing he can do about it. Alfie McCalmont gives the Mariners another lifeline. And with just over 5 minutes to go in the first half, a 5-goal first half. It's the Wanderers 3, the Mariners 2.
Unbelievable. 5 goals in the first half. There's the incident there from Alex Gersbach. He can have no complaints, and what a great penalty this is. When you've got the stuttering run-up and you look at the last moment to see where the keeper is, he's lifted it right into the top corner. McCalmont gets his 2nd goal of the campaign, and it's a really one that they deserve to get. They're putting under pressure inside the box and getting themselves forward, and now they're back to 3-2, and it's game on.
Well, Alfie McCalmont hasn't played international football for more than 3 years. Northern Ireland have got a tough road ahead if they want to qualify for the World Cup. They play Italy in that semi-final in the 2nd round of UEFA qualifying. You wonder if Michael O'Neill, the Northern Ireland manager, is keeping an eye on Alfie McCalmont in the Isuzu UTE A-League this season, because he has started the season really impressively for the Central Coast Mariners. And lethal from the penalty spot this afternoon. What a first half we've had.
Well, what else can we have in this first half? I'm just thinking. I'm sure there's going to be more action, and we hope there's more goals, but are they coming now or later on?
Well, what is quite incredible is, despite the fact that there has been so much goalmouth action and 5 goals, when you look at the work of the goalkeepers, neither of them, well, Andrew Redmayne had to make that one save that led to the first goal, but that is the only save between the 2 goalkeepers all half.
Yeah, they'd be dizzy at half-time thinking, how has there been 5 goals in the contest? I think when you look on the balance of play, the Wanderers have created really quick chances, whereas the Mariners are trying to build up and trying to, you know, manipulate that back line and getting set pieces and getting things in the box and applying pressure that way. That's what's been the most pleasing thing from the Mariners' point of view. It's not their normal game, creating and going left to right and getting chances, but they've had to do it off the set pieces.
Here's Nathan Paul. Harry Steele wanted it. Daniel Elder was somewhat in the way. Steele beat the obstruction, got the ball back. And that's a poor pass from Harry Steele, and he knows it. He's disappointed with himself, the Terrigal Jr. Penny, for Warren Moon's thoughts, who'd be a football coach, particularly on an afternoon like this when it has been helter-skelter?
And for Alan Stajic as well, you're thinking, okay, we'll go to half-time at 3-1. We're comfortable. Can we go and get the 4th goal? But now it's almost like you can't play with that much freedom. You've got to worry about this.
Ball over the top for Duarte. It's just too heavy for the Mariners striker. He puts the thumb up to congratulate Moragas for that delivery. It was only centimetres away from being a wonderful ball, and Duarte being able to get on the end of it. You get the feeling if he was able to get a toe in there, that's really close range for Lawrence Thomas to have to react.
And I think that's the avenue for Duarte, is that sort of option to go over the top and bustle against the two central defenders. He hasn't had a lot of joy getting the ball to his feet because the Wanderers are plugging that gap really well.
Oh, Bradley Tapp has put Andrew Redmayne under all sorts of pressure there, but Redmayne, as cool as you like, just sends it across to Nathan Paul. And now they give the ball away again here. Thurgate looking to curl one in the top corner, but he doesn't get too many of those opportunities, and the offside flag has gone up anyway. Well, that was hard in the mouth stuff for Andrew Redmayne. And don't forget, we're only less than 90 minutes away from the Big Blue at Leichhardt. It will be absolutely bouncing this evening. Sydney FC and Melbourne victory in suburban football. What a Big Blue we have got coming up for you tonight. Paramount Plus, your home of the Isuzu UTE League. What a fortnight for Sydney FC. A Big Blue followed by a Sydney derby here at Combank Stadium against the Wanderers. The Wanderers still have just over 45 minutes of football to try to get this job done before they can start thinking about the derby. And the Central Coast Mariners will be looking to be a thorn in their side. Came back from a goal down to level things up. They found themselves down 3-1, and they've got it back to 3-2 in the shadows of half-time. Mariners heading back to Gosford next week, where they will welcome Melbourne City. No doubt the point to prove as well after last night's performance against Adelaide.
Yeah, big games coming thick and fast, and I think after round 5 is a really good time and a key indicator of where the teams are at, where the coaches have tried to tweak things in the international break, but it does give you that data on how teams are sort of forming and what sort of philosophy that they have and what they have to improve on as well.
Almost like the season starts again, doesn't it, after the international break and heading into the big summer of football. Brantman lays it off for Moragas. Harry Steele on his heels, and he has to get in quickly to avoid Barbarouses picking his pocket. Can the Mariners find an equaliser before half-time? Will we go to the break at 3-3? That would be remarkable, if it's not already. McCalmont sizing up his options. He chooses Moragas. Has Ugarkovic in front of him. Finds the ball in the area. Pantazopoulos can clear it. Only as far as Nathan Paul. Tap. Nice little flick-on header there for Storm Roux. He had the eyes for Storm Roux, and the header was perfect as well. High risk, but high reward. Mariners just patiently building up here. As the fourth official indicates, 7 minutes of time added on. So plenty of time for this Central Coast side to try to find an equaliser, and maybe the Wanderers to open up that 2-goal buffer again. Of course, those 2 VAR decisions leading to the penalties, soaking up plenty of time, and the fans won't complain at all.
And neither will we. And the rain's just started to drizzle across the surface as well, which is going to only add to the drama that's unfolding in front of our eyes. Mariners in almost control with the ball. Moragas getting forward.
Nice switch of play by Roux as well. Calmon tries to find Brantman, who just drags Angus Thurgate down. The referee's watching this. Bailey Brantman will go into the book for sure. That was a very easy decision for the referee. He just grabbed the back of Angus Thurgate's shirt, pulled him to the deck, and then he's gone up to Alu Kual as well.
Wow. Kual getting back and helping out, trying to help out his midfield there. At first it was here, it was just a shirt tug, and then bang, making sure he got the yellow card and tried to stop the Wanderers on that counter-attack. They can be very, very dangerous, as we've seen so far.
the second yellow card of the season for Bailey Brantman. And once again, his first half of football at Combank Stadium delivers. Mariners with more than 80% of the ball over the last 15 minutes. Just goes to show how the arm wrestle and the momentum can swing. Right up here by Brandon, but just didn't quite have the control he was hoping for.
There's a little bit of spice at the end of this first half. I was hoping that it would continue a bit longer than 7 minutes, but yeah, great to see that. Players are up for it, and when it's a 2-goal cushion, sometimes, you know, you can be forgiven for not trying is not the word, but you feel so far away from it. When you're in touching distance now, the Mariners should try and push as hard as possible to try and get something before half-time and just put them under all sorts of pressure. The Wanderers now at half-time, I think they'll be a little bit nervous coming out.
You know all about coming back from 2-goal deficits, Eric, in that famous grand final against this Central Coast Mariners side. Spotidar Kraev lays it off for Gersbach. Get past Bradley Tapp. Miggy DePizio scrambles it clear. Half appeal from the Wanderers fans at least. Now Ugarkovic tries to kick it towards the penalty spot. Alu Kual gets his head on it. He can't direct it goalwards. They're pleading for a corner here, the Wanderers, but it's a goal kick.
And they're the sorts of areas it's great to see Ugarkovic get the options to play that ball forward, but it was just Kual in a sort of an unnatural position. That ball needs to be fizzed into that 6-yard box. Alan Stajic just having a look at the screen there to see if his side should have had a corner.
Hoof is flicked on by Brantman, but once again, Mariners aggressively into the challenge, and Nico Duarte on this occasion sends Aiden Simmons to the deck.
You don't mind seeing this from your strikers. It slows the game down, and it also just shows everybody that we're here. We are still in this contest, and come at us if you can. We'll stop you.
Getting forward, the switch for Gersbach is a good one. The touch by Gersbach wasn't as good as the switch. They do maintain possession. Barusas has to go deep. Big test for the Mariners defenders here as the Wanderers look to push forward for what will be one of the final occasions of this opening half. Will live long in the memory as one of the great halves of football in the A-League. Ugarkovic turns on it, but it ends up there for Nathan Paul, and there'll be a free kick for the challenge over on Mariners' left defensive side of Moragas on Simmons.
The Wanderers are allowed this width because you've got Angus Thurgate. You see that challenge coming in. He could put the brakes on Moragas, went straight through him. But Angus Thurgate playing as a number 6, but dropping in between to get the ball, which is allowing a little bit more depth and width for the wingers to get forward. It's good to see Thurgate just changing that balance that the Wanderers, I think, needed over the last couple of weeks, but haven't had it.
This is in a really dangerous position. The Mariners' defence is going to have to be solid here. Thurgate, Gersbach over the ball. Reminds me of that 2001 World Cup qualifier in Montevideo. Uruguay found the back of the net against the Socceroos. Same position, really. Gersbach has his hand up, and he will whip it in with the left foot, and it's cleared by McCalmont. Still with Gersbach, links up with Thurgate, a low ball. Moragas is there, but he can only put it out for a corner.
Should have done better there. The Western Sydney Wanderers, the first delivery, and then the second one. And they've got 2 versus 1 here as well. I'm not going to be surprised if they go short.
6.5 of the 7 allotted. They were looking to go short, but Thurgate has taken his place, and now the ball for Quoll. Can't quite get his head on it. His head was in a dangerous position there. Might have copped a boot on the way through. The referee will call a halt to play because Quoll looked to go low and get the head on the ball, but the Mariners were trying to scramble clear, and it was a boot in the back of the head.
That's a sore one. Alu Quoll. Can't mock his industry tonight. He just sort of ran into, was it Moragas? Yeah. And because he was falling away from the play, and he's been throwing his head into absolutely everything, it's just here trying to make his landing on his arms, and unfortunately his head just knocks the leg of Moragas, so that's a sore one.
Yeah, it's just as he's going to ground, isn't it? There's so many bodies in the way. Luke Quoll looks to be okay. Getting treatment from the Wanderers medical staff. You wonder whether Daniel Elder will allow play to continue for too much longer after this break in play. We are 7.5 minutes into the allotted 7. But of course, this break in play will add to that. It's at Daniel Elder's discretion now. And the Mariners won't be too disappointed to go into the break only down by 1 goal. Giving that penalty away earlier in the match to see Costa Barbarouses score his second of the afternoon and make it 3-1. Bradley Tapp was the player who gave away that penalty. As Alu Quoll slowly makes his way to the touchline, where he will, hopefully for Wanderers fans and Alan Stagic's sake, re-enter the play. It'll be a drop ball because the ball was live when Daniel Elder brought a halt to proceedings. It won't be contested. The Wanderers will send it all the way back to Bonatig. And Daniel Elder will decide how much longer we've got left in this opening half. Alu Quoll re-enters the play, and Daniel Elder puts the whistle to the mouth and brings an end to what has been a pulsating opening half of football at CommBank Stadium. It has had just about everything. The Western Sydney Wanderers went ahead early through Bojidar Kraev inside the first minute, would you believe? The Mariners, not long after, through Lucas Moragas, made it 1-1. And all within 11 minutes, the Wanderers had gone 2-1 ahead. Costa Barbarouses, that man, with the first of his 2 goals. They went 3-1 ahead through his penalty before another penalty. Alfie McAlmont, 5 minutes before the end of regulation, got the Mariners back in at half-time at CommBank Stadium. It is the Wanderers 3, Central Coast 2. Don't go anywhere because we've got all the action and reaction from that opening 45 from CommBank on the other side of this.
Western Sydney, sort of what's changed for you? What have you seen between before the international break and this first half that has led to an improved performance?
It is raining, isn't it?
I know.
With the rain, isn't it? That's true.
Well, what a cracking first half from Combank. We hope for something special today. We've been given that and more in the first 45 minutes. Western Sydney had only scored 2 goals in 4 games prior to this afternoon. They've scored 3 in the first half. They are 3-2 up over Central Coast, but there is plenty left in this one. Welcome to the Hungry Jacks halftime show. Daniel Garb here with you alongside Eric Partaloo and Tommy Orr. Let's get straight into the Harvey Norman highlights, boys, because there's plenty of them. And we spoke about the pressure being applied on Western Sydney this afternoon. They released that within a minute.
They did. It was a dream start for them. And I mean, you know, when you go into a game like this where there's under such immense pressure, it's a dream to get an early goal. And it really set the tone for the rest of the half. And what a finish it was from Krayev.
Just the way they started, Tommy, you could tell they were sharp from that international break.
Yeah.
That finish there, they put numbers in the box, something they hadn't been doing enough of. Good to see Qual hit the target, maybe could have scored from that distance, but Krayev, we identified him before the game. It had to be the key maker. It happened very early on.
It did, and you have to say after that, the Mariners, the way they kind of, probably their first real entry into the box, and what a finish this was from Moragas. Left foot, obviously a slight deflection that put Thomas off balance, but you know, I think at the same time they're probably a little bit fortunate given the run of play at that moment in time, but you have to give them a lot of credit for staying in the game.
I think the biggest, plus point for the Central Coast Mariners are their wing-backs or their full-backs. When they get themselves involved in the other box, things starts to happen, and I think Moragas, Rue, they need to do more of this in such a flat formation.
This goal at the time, perhaps we didn't quite realise how good it was. You look at it a second time, a third time, it's perhaps the finish of the season.
That's right, and I think, Costa Barbarossa, we spoke about the pressure that's on him, given that Brandon Borello's out as well, and that's just showing his quality and technique, and, very instinctive finish from him there, and at that moment in the game, the Wanderers had the ascendancy, but it was important that they capitalised on it.
And this penalty incident, for me, great to see the referees make the right decision in the VAR. It looked like an easy decision to make.
I think it was, yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was Costa Barbarossa again getting another goal, and then again the Mariners got a chance to score from the spot as well.
Exactly, and I think it was probably only their second entry into the box, and again, the Mariners, you have to give them a lot of credit. They were outplayed for almost 45 minutes, you have to say, and both entries into the box, they got something to show for it, and they're still very alive in this game.
Yeah, both penalties, something out of nothing, but the correct decision, we feel, was made. So what's changed from a Western Sydney point of view coming into this one? Their draw wasn't easy heading into this game. We must add that caveat. But without a win, what have you seen that's been different that's led to this improved first half?
I think the movement from Ugarkovic playing on that right-hand side, he's had a couple of weeks to get used to the understanding of being a right midfielder. He maybe gets caught out of position for the goal, maybe, but that direction to go on the right-hand side and play passes forward, you can see they've had a couple of weeks to work on things as well. And the movement up front, Qual's engaged, Krajev's body language is up. They look a lot sharper at the front third.
It's the intensity as well of the runs. It's not, I think, in the first 4 weeks and the first 4 rounds, it was very laboured and they're very slow, moving the ball too slowly. And today, even though it's not always coming up, you can see the intensity that they're playing with. They're more proactive in their football.
Well, we hope for something special tonight. The first 45 suggests we will be served that throughout the evening. The Big Blues coming up shortly. We can't wait for that. That's after football tonight, but there is plenty more to look forward to from CommBank, that is for sure. More of the Hungry Jacks halftime show after the break. It is Western Sydney 3, Central Coast 2. The Wanderers looking for their first win of the season, but there is plenty more to play out in the second 45. Back after the break. Costa Barbarouses has produced a magical first half. What a finish that was to put Western Sydney back in front after Central Coast had equalised, and then he capped it off with a smooth penalty as well. I mean, he's been the standout player, Tommy Orr, from this first half, as the Paramount Plus player index will tell us. This is a guy you can make a case for as being the most underrated player in A-League history, just about.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you, Garby. I think tonight he's been tremendous, probably his best performance so far this season, and you can see that those connections with his new teammates is really starting to click, and the movement of Krajev to come in the pocket, his runs in behind, and 2 great goals to cap it off.
When you consider they lost Milanovic, they lost Sapsford, they needed him to come in and add something. He's got a World Cup spot to play for at the end of the season as well. We can't wait to see more of him in the second half. Central Coast down at the moment, Western Sydney 3-2 up. The second half action is a minute away.
Welcome back to CommBank Stadium. A 5-goal first half. The Western Sydney Wanderers lead 3-2 at half-time, and the Mariners have a debutant in their ranks. James Donachie, not a debutant in the A-League, of course, 195 appearances in the Isuzu UTE A-League men's competition, but he's first in yellow and navy. James Donachie on the park for Harry Steele. It means Bradley Tapp will move out of central defence and into the centre of midfield, and Donachie gets his first touch in Mariners colours after struggling over the last few weeks with concussion symptoms. Great to see him back, but a pulsating first half. It had everything: 2 penalties, 5 goals. Eric Partaloo alongside me. Eric, let's hope for more of the same in the second.
Yeah, can we be selfish for a second and hope for 5 more goals? I don't think we're going to see 5 more, because once the coaches get their claws into their players at half-time, it's almost... it's a big risk, I think, for Alan Stajic, because they know they need that first win of the season. They'll feel the pressure of having that on their back. So you can already see them now with the throw-in, just trying to slow it down, calm things down, and that'll be for both sides, I reckon.
I'll get your thoughts as well on the introduction of James Donachie and the opportunity to push Bradley Tapp a little further forward. He is a central midfielder. He's done really well at the back, but he's in his more natural habitat now.
Yeah, it's great to see James Donachie back in the A-League. He's been missed, and I think he needs to find a home now, the last couple of years of his career. But you're right, Tapp steps in there. It won't change the formation, but it could in the future. I'd love to see him maybe play as a fulcrum, which would allow McCalmont to go further forward and get into that number 10 role, which I think he can play.
Storm Roux almost gives the ball carelessly away, but the Mariners do maintain possession. And James Donachie, of course, starting his long career at Brisbane all those years ago, spent time overseas in Korea, in India as well, and then coming back to Sydney FC and most recently Western United. Spent the 2025 NPL season with Sydney Olympic. So a little connection there, if you believe the scuttlebutt of the Isuzu UTE A-League men's competition. What may happen with the Mariners into the future.
Well, it's also just good to see somebody back themselves and go and play at a supposed lower level. No 2 questions about it, and regain fitness, regain confidence in possible employers as well. And maybe you're right, there is a little bit more to it than that.
So it'll be interesting to see how the Wanderers play this second half. We've already seen and spoken about the caginess and the willingness to slow things down, maintain possession, control the tempo of the game as well. And you are holding on to that 1-goal lead. Just the 12th time in A-League men's history that 2 penalties, one each side, has occurred in the first half. It's quite remarkable. Nice little ball here to the byline for Thurgate from Ugarkovic. And it's good defending as well by Alfie McCalmont. Put it out for a Mariners goal kick, but a good little incisive run, and that was a nicely weighted ball from Ugarkovic to the byline.
Well, we've got the coach cam here, Combank Stadium. I'm sure they're both on edge at the moment. Both can feel this game just going either way, really, and that's why both ends of the spectrum are so important. You can see the Wanderers, they can't afford to sit back and try and defend this lead. They're already starting the press, which forces the Mariners long as well. It'll be good to see the home side continue and try and score goals.
Conversely as well, the Mariners need to push forward. They can't sit back and allow the Wanderers to push higher, which we did see on occasion in that first half. The Mariners just tangling themselves a little bit in defence, and I think the introduction of James Donachie will give them that experience at the back. Sabit-Nyor has Gersbach in his back and gives the ball away to Thurgate. An opportunity here for the Wanderers. Thurgate's low ball is dealt with by Tapp. They are just scrambling a little here, the Mariners, and the calm head of Donachie puts it over for a Wanderers throw. But you can see there as well, the Wanderers maybe not content with that 1-goal lead. They know that they need to push forward and try to kill this game off.
That's the danger when you're trying to play in your back line. If you're not going to have that release pass, we talked about it in the first half, and you've got a pickpocket like Angus Thurgate who just reads the game so intelligently, getting forward, stepping into the zone. You can see Ugarkovic coming all the way across as well now, understanding his role maybe needs to change slightly.
So Duarte skips away from Thurgate. Gersbach comes across to dispossess and win it back for the Wanderers. Western Sydney have started this second half brightly. The way they started the first half as well, of course, Bojidar Krajev giving them the lead inside the first minute. It was 2-1 within 11 minutes. The second half a little more serene. Doesn't mean that the Western Sydney Wanderers haven't been looking for a way forward, and here's Aidan Simmons taking on Alfie McCalmont and winning that battle as well. Stephen Ugarkovic disappointed with himself as he puts that out for a Mariners throw. Thurgate strong, and DeLima a little too strong. Quickly taken free kick. Krajev looking for options, thinking about the switch for Simmons, who missed out on it. They end up with the ball now. He does from Thurgate. Simmons cutting back in, forced backwards. It's good ball movement from the Wanderers. They're forced to check out and start again. One-touch football from Thurgate. Qual can't handle it, but it ends up well for Barbarouses. Here's Ugarkovic, and Andrew Redmayne probably tried to catch, but it just slipped through the fingers, stays in the field of play, and that will go out for a Wanderers throw. Ugarkovic, I don't think he was sure about whether he was going to shoot or cross.
Yeah, unselfish from Costa Barbarouses, who is on a hat-trick. Probably went through his mind, can I shoot from here and get it past Andrew Redmayne for a third time? But that's more like it. It's all about Thurgate facing forward, playing forward, not going backwards. Things start to happen.
And a big throw of Anthony Pantazopoulos doesn't occur on this occasion. He goes short for Thurgate, and now he'll look to whip one into the back of Storm Roux. Camigi DiPizio kick clear. That's an important challenge, but an illegal one, and he'll go into the book as well from Pantazopoulos. He just missed time that. I don't think he was looking to break up the play from DiPizio. He was going for the ball, but he missed out, and he goes into Daniel Elder's book.
Second guessing himself now for not taking the long throw. It's something they work on to, you know, do a couple and then fake it and try and get it short. But when you have a long throw as good as Anthony does, you know, you question why would you try and set it up for a cross anyway, but it's great movement this from DiPizio, getting forward, sneaking in. It's been one of those games for the number 10 of the Mariners who's had to draw in a lot of fouls and take contact.
I think I might have been a little too kind to Pantazopoulos after seeing those replays. It was fairly late. Duarte with his back to goal, so he flicks it over his shoulder, trying to find Muir. It's cleared by Brillante. Mariners haven't had many forays to this end of the park this second half. Almost 10 minutes into it. The ball has largely spent that time in the Wanderers' final third. So here's Sabit Muir. Tries to skip away from Thurgate, clipped on the way through, and Mariners free kick in dangerous territory. Thurgate escapes the book for now.
I understand why Sabit Muir goes down there, but I would have loved to have seen him continue, because that first touch out of feet, just there. The second one, Bush. Bit of a Superman dive. Maybe the touch was getting away from him.
Calmont quickly becoming the Mariners set-piece specialist. Over the ball with Bailey Brantman. We saw against Perth Glory a fortnight ago how dangerous Bailey Brantman's left foot can be. That was moving. This is from a dead ball. Is it McCalmont? Is it Brantman? Looks like it might swing back towards that byline of Alfie McCalmont. It does. It's close to the goalkeeper. Not close enough. Donachie comes. The goalkeeper gets a punch on it, and there's going to be an offside flag raised, and this will be a goal kick.
They just moved a little bit too early because they went with the runner over the top, and that should have helped them, not been a negative for them.
Quickly taken throw. Simmons tries to get away. Nathan Paul read it well for the Mariners. Simmons goes again and gets Nathan Paul. Goes straight through the ball there. He'll go into the book as well, Aiden Simmons. Nathan Paul stays on the deck. He's had some tough injuries as well, but looks to be okay. Straight back on his feet. Nasty one there.
Yeah, it is a nasty one. You can see the halftime team talk about desperation, going and winning your battles and making sure the other team know that you're in with the fight. It's going to get nasty, you feel. The game in the balance. A lot of poker going on at the moment.
Now, Andrew Redmayne will use all of his experience just to try to get the pace of the game back in the Mariners' court. Weathering the storm through the first 10 minutes of this second half. Well, Duarte, Pantazopoulos completely missed that, but Duarte cops Pantazopoulos in the air. Wanderers free kick. Just patient, get a knock it round at the back, get up a bit of time. Cowbell, usually associated with their Southwestern Sydney rivals. Bonnetig. Barbarouses just lays it off again for Thurgate, now putting Qual over the top. Although Qual can't control. Storm Rue scrambles it clear. It's kept in by Miggy DiPizio. Sabit Muir can send Nico Duarte on his way. Thurgate gets across in cover. Puts it out for a Mariners throw. Important interception there by Thurgate.
All action midfielder Angus Thurgate understands those moments in the game where to help his teammates out from it. It was a spectacular tackle, but just for Alu Qual, again, when you've got that passage of play bouncing in and Costa Barbarouses gets a really good ball, flicks it around, you've got to hold the ball up. And it's a a big part of his game he has to try and improve, Aluquois, because you're the last man. It's gone bup through the middle, and somebody at the top has to make it stick, and he's the man entrusted to do so.
How's it gone, Eric? Yeah, you're right, though. He does need to get that ball under control, because when he has it at his feet, he can be so dangerous. One of those strikers, when he's running at you as a defender, really difficult, I could imagine, to contain. You don't know where he's going to go next, but he has to have the ball at his feet to be able to do that.
Or the other option, exactly that. Don't hold it up. Flick it out towards the sideline and use your pace, which is your strength, your natural ability that he has.
Storm Roux's switch is nowhere near. Lucas Moragas wasn't making that run. I think Storm Roux almost checked that switch halfway through and decided to go towards Nico Duarte, but he kind of made the decision to go towards Moragas, so it's a bit of a nothing switch. And not surprisingly, after 5 goals in the first half, the sting has gone out of this game slightly, but it was a tough act to follow. They make something here. The deep ball over the top for Aiden Simmons. Nathan Paul has to come back. Simmons takes the shot first time. It wasn't a terrible option. It sails over the bar, but that could have been spectacular.
That was a pinpoint ball again for Panazopoulos, and a pinpoint run from Aiden Simmons. Just needed that little clip over the far post. He's right on goal there. The Mariners get back just in time, but I think if he hits that to the target, that would have been one of the goals of the season. Route 1 football at its best, but for the Wanderers, that is the avenue.
He did really well to get in front of Lucas Moragas, and Nathan Paul had to get across and maybe just did just enough to put Simmons off the shot. But you're right, that would have fair tore through the net. As Kraev sends Barbarouses on his way, but that's too heavy, and Redmayne is out to collect. Just the 2 goals in Aiden Simmons' A-League career. Struggled with injury last season. Didn't necessarily find himself in the plans of the former manager. Found himself the captain of the NPL team late in the season. Thriving under Alan Stajic. Simmons again. Jarkovic needs to get away from McCalmont, sent backwards. They are pressing higher in possession here, the Wanderers. Simmons again, heads it down for Barbarouses, leaves it for Ugarkovic. And Stephen Ugarkovic in game number 250 was desperately looking for a goal to celebrate. He couldn't get his head over that one, and it's a goal kick.
And Costa Barbarouses wanted a little return there. Look at the run he made. It was special. He stayed on side. But once that ball sets up in front of you, in front of goal, one thing goes through your mind, and one thing only. It's a great switch of play, too, from Gersbach. The RBB, the crowd, are settling right in for this one. The Wanderers are certainly on top. That possession stat as well.
The last 10 minutes is in all Wanderers. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're a proven goal scorer or not. When you get the ball sitting up like that, you're going to have a crack, aren't you? And Costa Barbarouses was a little disappointed. Ugarkovic was disappointed as well, but it's hard not to.
But when you look across this squad as well, this 11 that's out there, who has goals? It's Costa Barbarouses and Kraev, and not many others have scored a lot of goals. Last season you had a Zapsford, Milanovic, Morello's out injured now as well. So, you know, you're looking at these guys out there, you've got to use the natural scorers that know how to score.
Dinking ball over the top, intercepted by Nathan Paul, only as far as Simmons. Very happy to maintain possession here, the Wanderers, and done really well doing that in this second half. Central Coast, they need one opportunity to get back to parity, and that would really break the game open in the last half an hour. Almost like the Mariners need to take the game to the Wanderers here. Duarte seemed content in letting the Wanderers knock it round at the back. The Asian Cup is going to be huge on Australian soil as well. Less than 100 days to go. We saw the 100-day countdown yesterday. Catch it all on Paramount Plus. The Matildas on home soil again. How good was that World Cup in 2023? Amazing scenes here again. 100 days time. Heard Sarah Walsh, the former Matilda, yesterday saying that North Korea could be a dark horse. Tough to get video of the North Korean side. Wonderful celebration of Asian football. I get the feeling it won't be long before the two managers go to their benches. And with the Central Coast trailing by a goal, the men that they will look to find goals. No surprise that Christian Theoharis and Ryan Edmondson are being ready to come on. While they make that change, let's get down to the touchline. Daniel Gar.
Yeah, a couple of handy substitutes for Central Coast as they try and wrestle back parity in this football game, and it is still on a knife's edge. I mean, Western Sydney might be 3-2 up, but then you have to look at Alan Stadgic. I've been watching him pretty closely throughout the second half. He is a man who knows how big the remaining half an hour or so is for his football club and for him. I mean, a lot of the crowd here are enjoying their lead right now, but he knows that it can change in an instant, as it did a couple of times in that first half, and put yourself in his shoes. Without a win so far this season, he just wants that second goal buffer badly, and watching him at the moment is rather interesting. He's showing all the emotions of a manager without 3 points to start the season.
Yeah, it makes it really fascinating heading into a derby week as well. If you're going in with a coach under extreme pressure and without a victory, a lot of the talk is around that and not necessarily a team. As McCalmont heads towards the penalty spot, Thomas is out comfortably and takes that catch, and will look to break quickly for Barbarouses, but he can't get that one on target. Theoharis loses out with his first touch of the afternoon, and Simmons, a nice little pass just in front of Qual, who changes direction, and Redmayne has to be smart out to dive on that loose ball with Simmons and Ugarkovic lurking.
That is top-level goalkeeping from Andrew Redmayne, because a lot of goalkeepers would have mistimed that and spilt it out to somebody on the edge of the box. What is he, 36? Still in his peak condition as a goalkeeper. Doesn't get a lot wrong, and his positioning was spot on there to help the Mariners.
281st A-League game. Savignon now, will he cut back onto the left and think about shooting? It was good defending to take that option out, but Miguel Pizio will have a crack from just outside the area. He can't get the connection that he would have liked, and it goes past Lawrence Thomas's right-hand upright.
Savignon there almost just set him up to hit that first time to Pizio. Maybe he just didn't fall on the right foot and wanted it on the left. Frustrating that the shot was there available to him, and you can see the slippery surface right now becoming maybe just more of a slight of an issue for some of the players, particularly on the edge of the box. You hit something and it might take a deflection.
Pizio scored a similar goal in round one against Newcastle. He didn't necessarily get a huge amount of power behind it, but it was enough. And you're right, with that greasy surface. Now Storm Roux gives the free kick away, taking Costa Barbarouses to ground, the two Kiwis, and now Alan Stadgic will head to his bench, and a little more of a defensive mentality for the Wanderers.
That's class from Costa Barbarouses, taking those two players to school, showing them how it's done.
In fact, the Wanderers coaching staff is telling the assistant referee they're not going to make the change just yet. So Dylan Cicluna and Gabriel Clerc will have to wait. And whipping it in off the left boot of Gersbach. It's set up nicely for Kryev. He's appealing for a penalty. No one else is. It's scrambled clear by the Mariners. Nathan Paul and Brad Tapp sit second and third for clearances in the A-League, and they're busy again.
Well, we've had some goalmouth action in this game, haven't we? And every time the ball goes in the box, something is happening. The Wanderers make a couple of changes now. It's Clerk coming on for Simmons, almost like-for-like swaps. I think Simmons had a great game, to be fair. Really energetic up and down that right-hand side.
And Josh Billante making way as well as Dylan Cicluna comes into the action. Of course, his brother Lucas is in the Mariners system as well, so divided loyalties for the Cicluna household this afternoon. I'm sure they will be hoping that Dylan can have a strong last 20-odd minutes against his brother's employer. And just shoring things up defensively. Western Sydney. Josh Billante has got through a lot of work this afternoon as well, and some fresh legs at the back to look after those fresh legs at the front of Ryan Edmondson and Christian Theoharis. Edmondson still looking for his first goal of the season. He's only had 2 shots all campaign. Of course, started the first couple. He was benched against Perth Glory last week. Played 90 against Wellington. A little fresher. Oh, that was well done by Storm Root to dispossess the Thurgate.
You could just see for the Central Coast Mariners, they know the longer they hang in this game, there's every chance they can get something. They're not in a rush. They're being patient, because the longer it goes as well, the home side are going to get a little bit more nervous. And you can see that with the substitutions made from Alan Stajic as well. And 3-all would not be a bad result coming from where they've had to come from.
Yeah, there is just that nervous hush, isn't there, over Combank Stadium. You can see there it's played very much down the middle of the park here at Combank Stadium this afternoon. The Wanderers looking to get a little expansive through Klur. Put the ball towards the penalty spot. Ugarkovic was there again, but that's well done by James Donachie. And the Mariners do win the throw deep in their own final third.
Still working, still ratting, still chasing. Costa Barbarouses has been in this situation many, many times in his career. He knows this contest is far, far from over. There's 20-plus minutes to go, and I think they need another one. He knows that they need another one.
And they possibly need Costa to play up the 90 as well if they find another one. Jared Carluccio and Hayden Hammond, forward options on the bench, but not out-and-out forward options. Lual plays wide as well. But Pantazopoulos has the towel, and the long throw beckons. And he goes short again, just to keep everyone guessing. Cicluna nicely cut back on the left towards the back post. It's laid back from Bozidar Kryev, but there were no Wanderers players there. Kryev did really well on the byline there to keep it in play. And if there was a Wanderers foot there, you got the feeling they might have gone 2 ahead. Theoharis now bombing forward. He gets past his first man, still going. Links up with Savitnyor. Storm Roux is bombing forward as well, and unfortunately for Storm Roux, he gets the nosebleeds there, and the ball isn't the one that he was hoping for towards the back post, and Thomas picks it up.
That's the avenue for the Central Coast Mariners, is just sitting there and wait for that opportunity to burst forward, and they have the legs in their fullbacks tonight, and most of the season. Savitnyor did really well to hold things up, but they have to just sort of manage this game now. The Wanderers are going to look to play a little bit more expansive as the game goes on, and the home crowd builds that tension, that pressure. What is going to happen in the final 20 minutes or so?
Some tired bodies, some frenetic football in the first half. a 5-goal thriller in the first 45. And it has been just as cagey in the second. No score thus far. Arthur De Lima getting instruction from Warren Moon. Prepared to enter the action for the Mariners, so another attacking change coming for the Central Coast. Interesting to see if it's a formational change. It won't be, because it is like for like as Miggy DiPizio makes way. Scored against the Wanderers in pre-season, did Arthur De Lima. 3 goals in just 9 games last campaign. He knows how to find the back of the net. Yet to score in 25-26. Oh, tight spaces. Good work there from McCalmont. Is there Harris? Can he cut in onto the left? We know he can come up with worldies. Slips over there. Moragas, back post, York's defending, gets back, clears, and Bradley Tapp gives the free kick away. Barbarouses goes to ground, the wily veteran.
Did exactly what he was doing there, Costa, didn't he? He was waiting for that moment, but again, the Mariners, when they go quickly, are fashioning these chances going from side to side and getting into wide areas. It sounds like a broken record, but if they continue to pile on that pressure, they can force those 2v1 situations on the edge of the box. And the Wanderers are dropping deeper and deeper and deeper inside their own box, trying to defend the cross. Maybe that cutback's on if they can get themselves to the byline. As we've seen Storm Roux get forward, as we've seen Moragas in this game, it's only going to be a matter of time if they can create that chance. I think the Wanderers will be under a lot of pressure.
Mariners do look like they are pushing slightly higher in defence as well. The battle between Moragas and Ugarkovic there. The pinball in the middle. Yeah, maybe those fresh legs in the final third for the Mariners are seeing that higher press as well. It is going to be a nervous final 15 for the home side and their fans and their manager. They look to get on the board for the first time this campaign. Kickstart their season. The derby with confidence. De Lima, nice ball for Thea Harris. Good defending though. No Mariners players there to pick it up, so Kraev can release. But he releases straight to Alfie McCalmont, who's held by Kleur. There's not going to be a booking here. McCalmont's not happy about it. Kleur had the shirt. And as it stands, the Mariners would be just inside the 6, but a big 3 points for the Wanderers would see them up to 9th place and in touching distance with that top 6, albeit very early in the season. Better to be in there than not. There's De Lima. Moragas waiting on the touchline. Nice little 1-2. Thurgate's there again. He's been ever present this afternoon, has Angus Thurgate. Moragas' touch is heavy. Thurgate puts it out for a Mariners throw.
Their ability to change tempo has been really exciting in this game, the Mariners. It looks as though they can keep controlled possession, but then they've got, as you said, Glenn, some fresh legs helps, but it's pass and move. It's pass and make triangles and get yourself those angles. If I was the Mariners right now, I would be looking at De Lima, Theo Harris, Edmondson, just keep giving them the ball. It seems as though they've got their tail up.
Players like Theo Harris and De Lima in particular, they can be so exciting with the ball at their feet. They can change direction quickly, come up with options out of nothing. Here's Theo Harris again, looking to cut in on that left. Storm Roux wanted Savitnor to chase, but Savitnor didn't quite read Storm Roux's mind there. He's going to be a Mariners throw, but the Wanderers do go to the bench, and it will be Jared Carluccio who is coming on, and it's the milestone man, Stephen Ugarkovic, in game number 250. He won't see out the 90, but he will be desperately hoping that his side will come up with the goods for him. and 3 points. 135 games for Newcastle, 27 at Wellington, 51 at Melbourne City. His 37th game here for the Western Sydney Wanderers after his debut all the way back in January 2016. And now a big chance for Jared Carluccio, the 24-year-old, to potentially put this game to bed for the Wanderers. But they've got to do some defending here. Donachie lifting it on the deck for Brad Tapp. The press is still impressive from the Wanderers. Still life in them. That's a good ball for Savitnor. Alex Gersbach can only put that out for another Mariners throw. That was a really good ball through the middle from McCalmont to Nior.
And that's maybe the big danger for the Wanderers, and wondering now why aren't they going and pressing, because you allow the space and time for McCalmont. He's going to find these passes.
Here's Moragas looking to get it towards the penalty spot. It's Gersbach, the only player near the ball, so an easy header clear. Ball lays it off. Carluccio lumps it forward for Clerc to chase. Paul can pick it back up for the Mariners easily enough. De Lima thought about taking the man on. The Wanderers still bossing possession, more than 70% in the last 15 minutes. Mariners just trying to work their way back into it. De Lima chasing. He'll get there. He's got Clerc in front of him. Onto the right foot. Clerc, an important block. Falls for Carluccio as well. Sitting a little deeper now here, the Wanderers. And it's almost a case of anywhere will do on that occasion. Still got just over 10 minutes of play. Based on what we're seeing in front of us at the moment, the Wanderers sitting increasingly deeper as the rain continues to fall. Thea Harris, once again, an important touch. Doesn't allow it to get all the way through from Cicluna.
You can see this side hasn't won a game of football this season. Unfortunately for the Wanderers, they're getting very close, but it's the 80th minute. It started in the 75th minute, sitting behind and now allowing the Mariners to come on top. Have they got the players to play on the counter-attack right now? I don't think they do. So they're sitting in and allowing Mariners to come and have those sorts of opportunities. It's very dangerous. And I would have loved to have seen the Wanderers continue to keep playing and trying to control the game. You're at home in front of your fans. The word protagonists has been floating around this week in the football circles. They should be. They should be the protagonists all the way through to the 90th minute.
Well, the Mariners certainly looking the more likely at the moment, but the Wanderers just trying to play smart. They're trying to just maintain the control. Almost like they're just trying to manage this one through to the end. With every passing second, they just look a little more nervy each time. De Lima, the chip and chase almost. Clerc got a touch. Barbarousis is back there helping out. De Lima played for the contact there. And Daniel Elder knew it.
But he shouldn't be doing that, Costa Barbarousis, should he? He shouldn't be getting all the way back into the back line and making a tackle. And that's the frustrating thing, I think, watching this side right now. It's not his job.
Especially given his age, his reputation, all that kind of stuff. Costa Barbarousis should be up top waiting for a ball through and waiting for his moment. It just indicates fatigue, the indecisiveness. Probably just a little lack of confidence based on where they sit at the moment. That's a poor ball from McCalmont, a rare one. Find a way out here again, the Wanderers, and that's smart play by Dylan Cicluna just to head back to Panterzopoulos, create space, and then they can use the right-hand side. Clerc with the ball over the top. Carluccio chases. Nathan Paul does well. Rain getting increasingly heavier. The RBB increasingly louder. The Mariners keep searching for an equaliser. Savitnor with 3 players on the switch. James Donachie gets involved as well. And plenty of players on the left-hand side for the Mariners. McCalmont gets it with space. Alfie McCalmont takes a touch. Is he going to shoot? No. He will go to Lucas Moragas. Moragas back onto the right foot, low ball. Well cleared by Thurgate. Brought down by Cicluna. Lucio gets deep. Links up with Kleur. But again, the Mariners trying to wrestle the ball back, and the Wanderers struggling to get out of their own final third. Needs to put some pressure on here as Thurgate finds himself in the centre of defence, gets a shoulder on the way through. Calmont can't quite win the ball back off Carluccio, so the Wanderers can keep coming forward here. The way they've been playing over the last 10 minutes, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not too early to go to the corner.
Yeah, you're not far off that. But you can just see the tendency is right now that they're afraid to make that pass forward, and the Mariners are going to make another substitution, throwing caution to the wind. They know they've not got long to get back in this game.
So it's a fresh final 4, really, for the Mariners. Savitnor makes way for Abdel Faisal. So all 4 forward players are fresh against a tiring defence of the Wanderers. Nervous defence of the Wanderers as well. They've got 5 minutes plus stoppages to hold on for their first 3 points of the campaign.
And there's so much experience on the pitch for the Western Sydney Wanderers. You expect them to see the game out, but I'm surprised that they're not having more of a go like this.
Ball over the top for Barbarouses. He brings it back down. He has to turn. Barbarouses has Redmayne beaten, but he can't get it to drop. Oh, that would have been a wonderful finish from the Kiwi talisman. Redmayne saw it sailing over his head, but it doesn't nestle.
Beautiful first touch, and saw Redmayne off his line. I think he just chose the wrong option technically. The rain coming down. They're still dangerous though in that final third if they can go and create one quick chance. But if that chance doesn't come off, it's like, okay, we've got to get back and defend for our lives.
Edmondson heavily marks. James Donachie has to be quick because Alu Kuol is bearing down on him, and Redmayne tries to keep it in. He might have done so there, Andrew Redmayne. Gives away the throw, but avoids the corner. And Alu Kuol just shows there that it's not over yet. They have to keep going. You can see Costa Barbarouses out in front quite clearly on the Paramount Plus player index.
There have been many instances in this game where I thought the Wanderers could continue to get forward, continue to pile on the pressure. At 3-2, it could be 4-2, it could be anything if they continue to believe, but such is the need just to get across the line and get 3 points.
And the decision has been overturned. Andrew Redmayne didn't get there. Daniel Elder had signalled the throw, but it's gone out for a corner. Thurgate to take. In swinging to Redmayne. Punches. Doesn't quite get his glove on it. The ball in again from Pantazopoulos. Cleared by the Mariners. Redmayne goes up again. Doesn't get it this time. Pantazopoulos with the pressure on. Scrambled. Clear by McCalmont. The Mariners doing just about enough there. And now a Wanderer down. Alu Kuol clutching at his head on the 6-yard box. The Mariners aren't happy with Alu Kuol staying down here, but a clash of heads potentially, and the Mariners just about hold on to that 1-goal deficit.
Yeah, that first punch from Redmayne was okay. The second one here to try and come and claim. Barbarouses does well, and then the elbow from Edmondson coming right into Alu Kuol just to try and clear a path for his goalkeeper. And in the process, it looks like a trailing arm. Not sure where the contact was made, but calamity in the box. Everything happening and anything tonight.
Well, nerves from Andrew Redmayne there. He's pleading the case with Daniel Elder, saying, how could the assistant referee see where I was when I kept that ball in play to overturn the throw for a corner? And it almost led to the Wanderers' fourth. This will be a drop ball again. Alu Kual, of course, went to ground in the first half, clutching at his head. The Wanderers will be happy to take all the time in the world here. Dylan Cicluna getting some instruction from Alan Stajic, who just wants Daniel Elder to blow that full-time whistle, doesn't he? But there's going to be significant added time as well. We had 7 in the first half, but of course we had 2 VAR decisions that led to penalties. Alu Kual gingerly making his way towards the touchline. Only a minute plus stoppages away from getting 3 points against his former club. This is going to be a drop ball. Mariners to claim. So strap yourselves in. Will there be injury time drama at Combank? Can the Mariners find an equaliser and maintain what is at the moment a 2-game unbeaten streak?
There's been some great defensive actions as well. We talk about the Wanderers sitting in. Again, it's Barbarousse who's getting back and making some sort of tackle, but Thurgate's been in there. Bonatig, again, has had another really solid game, leading the back line with Panazopoulos. And the 2 fullbacks for me today, Gersbach on the left-hand side particularly, really getting a lot of those last-ditch lunges and challenges and interceptions spot on the money.
Well, the Western Sydney Wanderers are now just assistant referee taking his time to put up that 4 minutes of time added on. They are 4 minutes away from their first victory of the new campaign. Nathan Paul has been, I beg your pardon, it's not Nathan Paul over on that far side. He's got up and is remonstrating. And it's Lucas Moragas who's gone to ground. The Mariners get the free kick. They want to take this quickly.
It's about that time. They need to knock the ball long and get players around that second ball. Carluccio going in and lunging in the back of Moragas. That was a dangerous tackle. That's not a nice one.
And it is the end of the section for Costa Barbarouses. He's had an excellent game this afternoon. 2 goals for his side that at this stage look to be giving him and the Wanderers 3 points. He applauds the RBB and the rest of the crowd here at Combank Stadium. And it will be Owen Lual coming on for his 4th appearance of the season, the 18-year-old. And Andrew Redmayne is asking, can I take this free kick now? He roosts it. The Wanderers eating up some more seconds with the substitution. Daniel Elder will be taking a close look at his watch. There's another Wanderers player. Goes to ground in the centre of the park.
It's been very stop-start, hasn't it, this second half? It's almost like a South American game at time.
It might be Anthony Antizopoulos who is on the deck now for the Wanderers. And let's get down to Daniel Garvey, because Alan Stajic isn't happy, Garvey.
Well, he's on edge. He just wants the final whistle to go. The word from Central Coast is obviously very different. They are furious that there's only 4 minutes of added time, and they are arguing that case with the 4th official down here. They think the Wanderers delayed some of the throw-ins and went down for some extra treatment, and there's no way there should be 4 minutes, in their point of view, added time.
So the ball over the top. Edmondson, could he get a touch on this? Lawrence Thomas has to be out quickly. Pantazopoulos and Thomas just getting a little confused, a bit of miscommunication between the pair, and Edmondson almost got a toe in there for the Central Coast, but Lawrence Thomas is happy to buy some time again for Western Sydney. See if they can close this one out. It is looking more and more likely as we delve deeper into time added on in this second half. The most nervous man in Western Sydney. Thomas sends it up to Aluqual again, lays it off for Kraev. He started it, can he finish it? He's pushed away from goal by Donachie. Still going is Bojidar Kraev. Low ball towards Qual and then Lual. And I don't think Lual was quite expecting that. He was assuming that Aluqual was going to get his head on it. And now the dispossession sees Plur away. After De Lima remains prone, he's going to have to get up and help out. He's almost on one leg. He does get back into the defensive line. Four minutes of a lot of time has expired. We are now at the discretion of Daniel Elder for Western Sydney to celebrate their first 3 points of the season. But is there one more chapter to be written? Faisal wins the throw for his side. Storm Roux will look to take it quickly. There will be at least one more minute, we are being told, for the substitution and also the injury to Pantazopoulos. The fans aren't happy about it. The Mariners at the moment at the wrong end of Combank Stadium. Now the big sweeping switch from Paul. Can it be reined in by Faisal? It can. Still he goes, Faisal, towards the 6-yard box. It's clear the Mariners have an attacking throw. Still, they try to find a way forward. Thea Harris linking up. It's now or never for the Mariners. Moragas. He decides not to shoot De Lima. Yellow shirts in the box. Nathan Paul, will he have a go from long range? He will. Nathan Paul brings out a wonderful save from Lawrence Thomas. He scored 2 goals in his A-League career. That would have been the most memorable of the 3. It was a stinger from Nathan Paul, and Lawrence Thomas had to be on his absolute best to keep the 3 points in Wonderland for the time being.
Absolutely incredible from Lawrence Thomas. They're the moments when you haven't had to do a lot as a goalkeeper, and then all of a sudden you've got to jump in the pouring rain and get a big claw to it.
Alfie McCalmont with perhaps the final play of what has been an absolute thriller. The corner towards the back post. James Donachie towards the goalkeeper. He can't hold on to it. It's scrambled clear by the Wanderers for another Mariners corner. That could have fallen to absolutely anybody. How long will Daniel Elder allow play to continue? We are almost 7 minutes into 5 allotted. Thea Harris will take this one with the in-swinging left foot. Andrew Redmayne is up. Can the Teal Wiggle come up with something special? Daniel Elder is now calling 2 players out. He's not happy with the pushing and shoving. Bojidar Kraev and Nathan Paul are getting a talking to. Tensions are high. Nerves are being stretched. Redmayne steals Lawrence Thomas's drink bottle. Thea Harris's delivery towards the front post. Redmayne was there. Here's McCalmont. It's blocked by the Wanderers. Surely that will be enough. Redmayne has to come back across to prevent the Wanderers getting away and scoring the goal. But Daniel Elder is in the centre circle, calling full time on what has been an epic round 5 Isuzu UTE A-League men's contest. The Western Sydney Wanderers are on the board for 25-26, their first win of the season. They had to do it the hard way. It was nervous. but it's job done. And that man, Lawrence Thomas, has just about secured the 3 points with a wonderful save on the stroke of full time to deny Nathan Paul. It has finished Western Sydney 3, Central Coast 2.
What an incredible game of football. What a dramatic finish. Daniel Garvey with you alongside Tommy Oars. We take a look at the Harvey Norman highlights. This feels like 3 days ago, Tommy.
I know.
When Western Sydney took the lead within a minute. It's been an epic clash, but they're finally on the board with 3 points, and this is how they got going.
Oh, you can feel the relief in the stadium from the fans and also from the players themselves. I think in the first half, you know, they played some brilliant football, scored some amazing goals, but second half, they really had to dig deep and work hard for those 3 points.
The Mariners just kept coming every time Western Sydney